Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 Genetically Modified Overkill run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're doing a combo that I was very surprised I hadn't done yet. We're gonna cover the entire map with our builder turret by playing old plus builder. This should be a really fun combination, I think, just trying to get the builder turret to shoot everything on the map for us because we're playing on the smaller map. But of course, the main challenge for this run is going to be that the builder is very bad at killing elites. The old struggles against elites because you have less space to dodge. So we're going to see if we can make that work. I'm going to start, I think, with Slingshot. It's probably the best weapon for the builder. It's a solid weapon for old. I like Revolver a little more on builder, but Slingshot's also very good. And we'll try to get something cool to replace the slingshots with later on, but this will give us some HP, and a little bit of defensive capability is always excellent. I'm going to try to pick up materials in the early stage of this wave here, or of this run here, though later on we're going to want to start feeding materials to the turret, of course. Let's reroll here. I'm looking for harvesting. You really want to get your economy rolling very quickly with early harvesting on this character. You're going to have extra money when you're playing the builder in the first couple waves because you start with harvesting. But later on, you have to feed money to the turret, so you'll have less for yourself unless you've built a lot of harvesting. A reroll here and reroll. We missed a couple times on harvesting, so I'll just take 5 luck. Also in economy stat. Duct tape, excellent, of course. With the builder turret, it is going to have the slingshot shots from the builder. So builder, just to remind you, is going to use our highest level weapon in order to have that be the attack from our turret. But it scales with engineering rather than ranged damage. So any engineering that we can buy is going to be excellent for making our turret better. I will still buy attack speed, even though this doesn't affect the turret and only affects our character. With a slingshot build, we can still just use lifesteal to heal, so having high attack speed is going to be really important. Okay, we finally found another slingshot. I was starting to get a little nervous there. Definitely fewer slings than I would like to find, and in fact, for 8, I think I'm not going to reroll. Next wave, we should be able to find slingshots as well, because we're also guaranteed 2 weapons per reroll. So I think I'm going to save my materials there, because 8 is so many to reroll, to spend on a reroll, and then just lock a weapon. So using the lowered pickup radius from this character, we still need to try to pick up as many materials as we can. Okay, well, obviously I want harvesting, but I'm not going to pass 2 armor. 2 armor is going to be excellent, and then we will be able to buy more slingshots. You can upgrade your slingshots to get a higher level turret, but basically that's sort of like buying 2 level 2 turret. It's sort of like upgrading 2 slingshots from level 1 to level 2, because we've got a level 1 slingshot on our builder turret, and we have level 1 slingshots in our inventory. We upgrade to a level 2, and we sacrifice 1 total weapon to get a level 2 and a level 2. Usually I like to fill out the weapon set before doing that, but it is worth noting that it's better to upgrade your weapons on this character than on other characters. Oh, blunderbuss is a kind of interesting idea. So this would reset when we pick up materials. I actually don't really know how this works with the builder turret, but we don't really want to be picking up materials in the late game, so I think we're going to pass on that. Honestly, pretty unlucky to only find 5 slingshots and lock a 6th, but we did get there. Looking for just like a really cool weapon, like a particle accelerator or a nuke launcher. Something fun. Any of the legendaries, of course. It's interesting that the builder's turret on this map is spawning off-center. Because it usually spawns in the exact center of the map, but for whatever reason with the old, it's spawning off-center. I'm going to take 9 speed here. It's a level 3 upgrade, and negative speed is really dangerous, especially against elites, which are going to be the main problem this build will face. And then I'll take 3 engineering here, just to make sure that the damage on our turret is higher. We'll start feeding money to the turret in probably 2 waves. The builder gets minus 70% damage modifiers, so Corrupted Shard basically won't give us an increase to our damage, but it will give us 1 curse. 1 curse for 18 I think is worth buying, even though it doesn't give us any damage increase at all. Though if we stack a few of them, then it can. We don't want baby gecko. That will make it harder to feed money to the turret when we want to. Cute monkey we actually could buy on this character. Losing the ranged damage, not a significant concern, because it's only 0.25 ranged damage that we lose. But I think we will be fine for healing just by buying even a little bit of lifesteal with all of these slingshots. Also, it's fun to be back on the Abyss map. Obviously, I've been doing the win streak random weapons run on Crash Zone, but decided that I wanted to try something a little different today. Just didn't feel like playing another try-hard run. So this wave, I'm going to pick up materials. Next wave, I'm going to start building, I guess. We'll see if we can get this loot alien or curse alien kill. And we did get it. I need to, of course, to remember that there are the guaranteed curse alien spawns on wave 4 and 5, which we want to boost. Trying to remember things about the Abyss when I haven't played it on it in a while. I'll take 6 max HP. 29 is decent because we have the primitive weapon tag, but a little more certainly never hurt. And then, slower enemies is always fun on the old, because you already have decreased enemy speed, so this can really slow enemies to a crawl if you get the snail. So I am going to buy that. I'm going to take the butterfly, so we've got some healing, and then I will roll here. We'll take a book and a helmet as well, and go to wave 5. So now I'm going to pick up about, I would say about half the materials that drop. I still want to pick up some, but I want to start boosting the turret a little bit. I'll often wait until wave 6 to start building the turret, but this is a powerful enough character combination that I think we can get away with boosting the turret a little earlier. You can see I'm kind of just skimming the outer edges here. Also, we have effectively a second level 2 slingshot because I upgraded to level 2, so now our turret is using a level 2 slingshot. Still looking for a really cool weapon to give it, though. Regen. So obviously I want lifesteal on this character because we're using slingshots and they're very good with lifesteal. I will still take the plant even at the cost of 1 lifesteal. It's just such an efficient item. And then I'll take 6 more max HP. And I will buy this plant as well, even though it costs me all of our lifesteal, sadly. But we get a free reroll out of it because I'm going to buy all of these items. And then roll here. Baby squid, great. Goblet, that is a good way to heal as well. But I think we're going to have enough free healing with the baby squid and any lifesteal that we can actually buy once we can start getting that I'm actually not worried about spending 110 on the goblet, and I think the squid is better for healing than goblet is. So we're going to skip on that because I just don't need that much healing at this point. Don't want to overspend too much on healing early on this combo, because I think what kills us isn't going to be, if we lose. What kills me is not going to be having insufficient healing, but having insufficient damage and wave clear. Got a crate here. I'm going to pick up some of these materials. I want enough that I can afford the next set of things in the shop. Because we have a few good items locked in the shop, so I want to make sure that I can buy those. You'll notice it's not playing the graphic for the materials building into the turret, but it does still work in GMO, so don't worry about that. I will take the XP gained here, and then obviously percent damage is useless. I think I'm just going to take 5 harvesting rather than spend money on re-rolling. Check our turret. So we've gotten it to stage 2, where it had at least 30 levels up. And so it's got 2 projectiles now and 150 structure range and fires decent amounts of extra projectiles. Now, once we have started leveling our turret, it's more important to get higher level slingshots. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade to a level 3 slingshot here, just making sure that I have 6 weapons for the tag, but leveling our weapon as high as possible otherwise. Take a helmet here, and then I don't need the jelly. We are just going to go to the next wave. I didn't see if we had elite or horde waves. I should definitely check that, because elites are going to be much more dangerous than horde waves for this character. But both are a little risky. Just the small amount of space that we have to maneuver always makes it a little tougher. And you can see here that we are starting to struggle a little bit with wave clear, because the base damage from our weapons is no longer keeping up as well with enemy hit point totals. And we actually haven't found that much engineering. I do need to find some. Still skimming a little off the top for myself while also building my engineering project here, which of course I have never done in any other context than Brotato. I want to make that very clear. We're never going to get elemental damage because we buy it at 1/4 value, so we're going to recycle the strange book here, and then let's reroll. And do I just take more harvesting? I think I do. Even this late, making sure that we can continue to have our economy roll while we're also leveling the turret is so important for this character. I'll take another slingshot. I'm going to take a penguin. It looks like lifesteal is a little hard to come by because I did decrease my lifesteal a bit. So I'm going to just try to make sure that we have at least some additional healing. Pumpkin would be good if we had piercing shots, which we don't currently, and the pumpkin piercing damage boost is affected by the builder's damage modification reduction. So you only get 1/4 of that value, so it's not really worth picking up pumpkin on this character, especially given that we don't have any piercing shots. Still avoiding the alien tongue here. I'm re-rolling a lot because I just want to find a cool weapon to replace our high-level slingshot with. A grenade launcher would be fun. A rocket launcher would be fun. Anything along those lines. Obviously, a legendary would be the best, but something like particle accelerator. One that I won't buy is obliterator, even though that's a level 3 weapon, because obliterator is so bad for the builder that it's like an instant loss button if you buy an obliterator on this character. Even with the extra projectiles, it just fires so slowly that it's impossible for it to clear the wave adequately for you. So this wave, I'm boosting the turret a lot. I really want to get it to the next level. And I want to get its range high enough that it can actually cover the entire map. I will take Ugly Tooth. It does decrease my move speed even further, so now I'm going to reroll and look for move speed, I think. Though our engineering is so low, I think I have to take that. Okay, so a harpoon gun, a cursed harpoon gun. So this will have high piercing. It will pull enemies in. It will scale with more than 300% of our engineering, because the way that the builder turret works, it has this engineering damage scaling. You can see here, scaling with 80% of our damage, so the same as the normal weapons scaling. The way that builder turret works is that if you have a weapon that has multiple scaling types, it just adds those together and scales off that much of your engineering. So the harpoon gun, when cursed, with the awesome damage scaling that it gets, is going to scale at a ludicrous amount of engineering here. So it's still using the level 3 slingshot, so I have to recycle that. And there we go. 316% of our harpoon of our engineering is being added to the damage. So it's firing 2 shots for 50 damage each. That's really fun, and I think we can work with that. I can't buy this level 3 slingshot, but I will still... Actually, I don't even need to upgrade to level 2 on these slingshots, I don't think. No, I probably should just for lifesteal purposes. It only costs 35 and it's an extra bounce. Okay, so it looks like the harpoon gun... So harpoon gun has a minimum range, which is a very interesting challenge with this character as well. I was just very curious to see what would happen. So it's not shooting at that thing that it just pulled in, which is really interesting. I kind of love that, actually. It's a really interesting challenge for this character that we're going to pull in enemies and then our turret is going to stop shooting them because they're going to be too close. I don't know if it'll be sustainable long term, but this is a really neat build for this character for sure. I genuinely wasn't sure how the minimum range with Harpoon Gun would work. That's one of the things I love about doing GMO combos, is you learn all sorts of new and interesting stuff that you wouldn't have known before. Buy all of these items and then do a reroll here. Captain Sword shows up to taunt me again, but sadly it only works with ranged weapons for the builder turret. Let's reroll here. Okay, we'll take a crown, because of course you can't be the king of Brotato without it, and it's going to be very good for our very high harvesting. For 15, I'm not going to reroll. This character has to be a little pickier with rerolling because we are playing on such lower economy. So I'm actually going to have to do a lot of dodging because the Harpoon Gun is going to not be killing stuff some of the time because it's going to be next to it. I actually really want increased enemy spawns because having more enemies on the field will make my Harpoon Gun more likely to shoot things that are right next to it. Because the projectile still passes, even though it has a minimum range. It just doesn't shoot at that range, but the projectile still passes through that intervening space. So it still does damage to things that are close to it if it's shooting at something further away. Yeah, I had to pick up a lot of materials there because I was starting to take damage. It was the only direction I could move in order to survive. This is a wild combination. Okay, can we kill that loot alien? Shoot it, shoot it, shoot it. No! Stupid turret. So Harpoon does lose 25% piercing damage per shot. So I will take the pumpkin here. It's only going to decrease it to, 21%, but that's still better than nothing. 15 attack speed. We still have no lifesteal currently, so I could just take 2 engineering. We do get 300% engineering scaling. I could also roll, because something like move speed would be really good as well. Yeah, I'm going to take 9% speed here. We'll take the crown. I'll do a reroll, and I'm actually not certain. If I buy the level 3 Harpoon Gun, is that going to cause my cursed Harpoon Gun to no longer be the preferred one? I don't know if I can take that risk. I know I could like look up how builder works, but I'm not going to do that. This is a run for relaxation, not for tryharding. So how it works, it usually uses your most expensive weapon, whether that be your highest level weapon or your or a lower level one that's more expensive, just because it has a really high base cost. But I am not sure how it accounts for curse. Feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'm really liking watching this turret just go to town with the harpoons. It's very funny. Crit chance doesn't do anything for this character, really, unless we get Pile of Books. If we get Pile of Books, it's very good. But I think we're going to recycle that until that happens. Sunken Bell I should probably take because we're getting into a little bit of danger just because the harpoon isn't always shooting at things that are right next to it. So I'm going to make sure that we have at least some survivability there. And the Sunken Bell's a good in the Sunken Bell is good in an emergency. I'm gonna take the coffee here, more attack speed to go with our non-existent current lifesteal, and then I think we can get away with the wheelbarrow even though we're going into an elite wave. I'm just gonna have to dodge really well in this next wave. I'll take a clover and a cog as well, and I'll do one more reroll. I'll buy a book. We can't buy a level 3 slingshot here, because that would turn off our turret, or at least make it not use the harpoon anymore. So this is a fairly dangerous elite, I would say, but for having to move in such a small area. But at least the turret is doing good damage to it as soon as it shoots at it ever. One problem is the spread on the turret shots means that even when it's targeting the elite across the map from itself, it is often missing with several of the projectiles. So we may not quite have the damage to kill the elite here. It really depends on where it decides to sit in the arena. And I'm trying to get it to charge into corners where the turret has a better chance of hitting it with multiple projectiles. So I'm like moving into corners and trying to get it to charge at me. But of course, the turret targets the closest things to itself, so it looks like we're not quite going to have the damage to kill the elite. And I did pick up a lot of materials myself instead of putting them in the turret. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and take 6% move speed here. We'll take all of these items that we locked. 4 more engineering would have done it last wave as well. Do I want more move speed, going up to 18% with the wings? Probably. And then we'll do a quick reroll here. I'll definitely take a level 2 harpoon gun. We'll buy a slingshot as well. Leveling up this harpoon gun to level 3 is going to be huge for our damage output and will help us hopefully survive the wave 14 horde and then also do well against the next elite. Yeah, even a little bit of engineering going from 50 damage a shot to 67 damage a shot just by buying the 1 cog is pretty nice. The other problem is carrying a harpoon gun means I'm pulling the enemies to my character, which is a little bit dangerous. You don't usually want the enemies to come to you when you're playing the builder. You want them to stay near your turret so your turret can shoot them. But because we're using a harpoon gun, this ends up being a different consideration, where I actually want to pull enemies away from the turret so that it can shoot them thanks to the minimum range. Take a few materials here just to make sure that my income is still going up. I am going to take the cute monkey when it shows up in a box like this. We'll take recycling machine as well. And then here, I've still got negative lifesteal. I'm at minus 2%. So I could buy 3 lifesteal. That would give us a lot of healing. I could take 3 armor as well. I think I am just going to take 3 lifesteal. If I find 1 more lifesteal item, you really don't need much lifesteal to have a ton of healing with slingshots. So I think it is worth it to do that. I'm gonna reroll here, and we'll upgrade our slingshot. I'll take a muscly dude as well, because I do want to increase my max HP. Tardigrade we don't need, and we'll save the wings here. Okay, so going into a horde wave, let's see if we can survive. Obviously, we have decreased enemy spawns from the old, but we do need to be able to kill a large number of enemies this wave still. Having both slowing items as well, we have Ugly Tooth and we have Snail, and we're playing the old. So enemies are moving really slowly. That makes it a lot easier to deal with them. You saw that 2 waves ago against the elite, that I wasn't having to work that hard to dodge its attacks because it was just moving so slowly. So for the old, those items that slow enemy movement speed are really premium. They end up giving you a ton of survivability as a result of having them. I'm still open to swapping to a different weapon also if we find something else cool, but the harpoon gun is really fun. I'm actually really liking how this works for this character. Yeah, we'll take a blindfold. 9% dodge. We've already got 4%, so we could end up with a decent amount of dodge on this character. And in fact, I think I'm just going to take 9% more dodge, going up to 22%. We have a... this wasn't locked, but we can buy this clover as well, which is great. I will take a cursed goblet for sure. So I want all of these items. What order do I buy them in? I can buy the muscly dude and the clover. That's the only combination I can buy 2 of, right? Because this is 310 for these 2 items. So I guess I'll just buy the 2 items and get an extra reroll here. There's some consideration to buying the cursed item first, just because having more curse is good for having cursed items show up in the shop, obviously. This certainly isn't the hardest combo I've ever played. I was expecting it to be a little more difficult because of the small map. Maybe I should have tried double old, although then the economy starts getting really out of control. But it is just fun watching the builder turret just have enough range to hit everything on the map and just flatten it all. We couldn't have used the harpoon on a double old map because then the minimum range would be smaller than the map. Eye patch, so we don't have any critical hit effectiveness currently. I am going to take this just for the curse, but we don't have any way to get value from the eye patch because we don't have pile of books. I will take the goblet here. I don't need another slingshot. Actually, I guess I can buy another slingshot and go up to level 3 because we now have the level 3 harpoon gun, so it'll use the harpoon gun still. But we just don't really need level 3 slingshots. The only purpose of leveling our weapons here is for more bounces for lifesteal, which I've consistently failed to build in this run anyways. So we just don't need to do that. I'll take a metal detector for sure, though. It's just more engineering. One funny thing about this combo, too, is that you might have noticed when we started the run, the game will let you, when you're doing, or the mod, I guess, will let you choose an engineering item, like a wrench or a screwdriver, as your starting weapon and on the builder, if you're a character that normally starts with those weapons. But the actual construct from the wrench won't spawn. So it's kind of a fun little interaction there, where you can have a wrench, but because the builder doesn't allow you to have any other structures, you don't get the turret. Fun playing Wave 16 here, because we've got all of these curse aliens, which our builder turret is just annihilating, just hauling them in and killing them. That's very funny. Stone Skin, I don't really care about losing my attack speed right now, so yeah, we'll take 5 armor here, we'll take 8 luck, and we'll take more consumable heal. I do think lifesteal is still going to be the best thing here. Wow, Cursed Grinds Magical Leaf, even this late, is going to be really good. And I have managed to boost my move speed a lot. So Estes Couch is sometimes interesting on the old, because you have negative move speed, so you get a lot of regen from it. In this case, I would be going to negative 12 and gaining 24 regen from the Estes Couch. You know what? Let's do it. It's such a small map. I think the Estes Couch is going to be fun, and we're building wacky stuff anyways. Now we're really watching the builder's turret just go to town. The damage scaling is so high because we have a cursed harpoon that every point of engineering I buy is just so valuable. Although, again, when an enemy gets close to it, I do need to be pretty careful. That is, I suppose, one reason not to prioritize lifesteal. As much as I have been, it's just that the builder's turret is killing everything before I can lifesteal off it, but we're still making a decent number of attacks. So, there's still healing value to be gained from that. Especially when we're in a little more danger. Like, the waves where we're going to be potentially in trouble are usually going to be elite waves. There will always be something to lifesteal off of, and more other enemies will be surviving because a lot of the damage will be being absorbed by the elite. I will take the Poisonous Tonic here. Obviously, the crit chance, not that useful, but the attack speed is still useful, and I think it's worth sacrificing 2 regen for it. We'll take 3 engineering, and then let's buy Estes Couch and see if we can fight the elite while moving really slowly. I've got 40 regen, so we should be able to survive against it. Had to wait for our builder turret to spawn. That is a downside of this combination, too, is that normally the spawn time of the builder's turret is not that big a deal, but because this map is so small, the elite was able to reach us before our turret had spawned and actually put us under some pressure. Thankfully, the damage is so high from the double cursed damage scaling that we were able to get away with it. One of the fun things about Harpoon Gun just as a weapon in general is that it scales off of melee damage. So you can actually get quite a lot of damage with Harpoon Gun, because it's a ranged weapon with 100% melee damage scaling, and usually melee damage you buy at twice the value of ranged damage. So as a melee weapon, or as a ranged weapon with melee damage scaling, you can end up with Harpoon Guns that deal enormous amounts of damage. Very happy to get this octopus here. We don't care about the crit chance at all, and this gives us a ton of value. And then I will take 3 armor. The Grind's Magical Leaf has given me so many stats already, which is great. We'll take a metal detector for sure. Sift's Relic. Well, I guess I'm taking the cursed level 4 Harpoon Gun if I can buy it. So 163. That means I'm going to need to find quite a bit of money here. We will need more than 450, which we have not been getting. The Builder's Turret is already quite upgraded, so I can start grabbing materials from it. Sift's Relic is typically pretty bad for the Builder. I think what we're going to do here, though, is I'm actually just going to go with the armor and the small fish. We'll leave the Harpoon Gun locked, and then I'm going to go at least a few waves into Endless Mode so we can play with the level 4 Cursed Harpoon and just kind of see what happens. This has been a very fast run so far anyways, so... Because there aren't that many shopping decisions to make when you are feeding most of your money to the Builder Turret. But I really want to see the damage on the level 4 Cursed Harpoon Gun. So, I'm gonna pick up some materials here, not all of them, because I still want to feed money to the turret. We will start losing harvesting value once we are in Endless Mode. So eventually our economy is just going to completely collapse. Builder is really difficult for Endless Mode in general because the temptation is just to feed money to the turret. And what you should usually do with Builder in Endless Mode is just accept that you're taking 3/4 damage penalties and just play it like a normal character, completely ignore the turret if you want to get, far in Endless Mode. We actually did make 630, so I can buy this right now. So let's go ahead and just combine, because this should still use our level 4 Harpoon Gun. Make sure that that's taking place. Only 328% damage scaling, so... Wait a minute. Our damage scaling is worse on this one. So the level 4 Harpoon Gun actually rolled worse than the level 3 Harpoon Gun. Curse has a random element to it, so we actually ended up with a weaker, with weaker damage scaling on the level 4. That's really funny, but it does have higher base damage and more piercing and stuff like that, so it's still good. But if we find a level 3 Harpoon Gun to upgrade here, then we will be able to upgrade our scaling a little bit. Let's go on into Endless Mode. I probably will not play more than a few waves with this, because this combo is very one-note, but I really wanted to try the level 4 Harpoon Gun, even if it turns out to be worse than the level 3 in some ways. I do love watching all of the harpoons just blasting into the bosses like this. Not a recommended weapon for the Builder in general, but it is really fun. One other problem is, even though I've got 2 harpoons, so I can kind of pull enemies away from the turret to, get it to shoot at them, it has way more harpoons than I have, so it's much better at pulling than I am, and always pulls things back on top of it. I need to reduce my move speed further for the Estes couch as well. Alright. Sharp Bullet, I don't really want to decrease damage per pierce, because we've got 6 pierce on our Harpoon Gun already. That's plenty. Explosion damage doesn't do anything. The octopus does. Cauldron, I guess I'll take that, and then don't really need damage or attack speed, so let's reroll here. Reroll again. No, I don't want move speed. I'll just take 5 luck, I guess. A baby with a beard. We have no ranged damage. It is a cursed item, which you do generally want, so I'm going to pick it up just for the curse. And then we'll reroll here. I guess I'm going to take another harpoon gun because I want to try to upgrade this better, this level 3 harpoon gun. And we will actually ignore the slingshot here. I'm definitely taking diploma for the extra engineering as well. I'm ignoring the cursed slingshot because I don't want to swap to a cursed slingshot. It would probably be better, but I'm really enjoying the harpoon turret. What's nice about this is we can sort of sit back and relax and just watch the turret do stuff, but I actually have to pay a lot of attention to where I'm standing because the turret is pulling in enemies to itself pretty frequently. And so if I stand on it, I put myself in a lot of danger because it doesn't shoot stuff that's right next to it and it pulls stuff into it. So we want to stand away from the turret, but that means I actually have to actively dodge enemies. Baby Gecko, I'm still not going to take. Muscly Dude, I will take. And then, sure, we'll just take a level 4 attack speed upgrade. More attack speed's pretty nice. Taking the diploma for sure. I'm going to sell, or I guess I'll combine and buy a harpoon gun here and then roll. And then we can take no, we can't take the ritual because it would reduce my engineering, but I will take another octopus just for even more defensive stats. Obviously, a cursed grinds magical leaf is a really nice one to have for endless mode. Unlike a lot of other things that give you value incrementally over the waves, grinds magical leaf does not stop working at wave 20, so you just continuously get value. That diploma was really nice. It has massively boosted my damage with the builder turret. Though we're still only hitting for 200 a shot, which you would definitely want to be hitting for more than that. I'm also losing track of enemies sometimes, like that loot alien I fully lost track of because it got pulled away by the turret. Take the dangerous bunny for sure. That's a really nice one to have for an endless mode run. Feather, I'm going to recycle. There are better ways to get dodge, like this jetpack. Although, wait, still can't take jetpack. It would reduce my speed. But 12% dodge we could buy here. Take the octopus. I'll take a blindfold. That's even more dodge. And more piercing shots without piercing damage reduction is kind of interesting. But I think I'm going to roll past that. I'll take a warrior helmet. Take a penguin. And we will lock a harpoon gun as well, so that I can upgrade my maybe slightly better cursed one. I did have a free reroll there that I wasted. I'm just replacing all of my weapons with harpoons just because it's funny. Probably the right thing to do is to stick with slingshots for lifesteal rather than the harpoons, but I kind of like just having more harpoons. Kind of hypnotic watching all of these harpoons. I really want ricochet. If we could get bouncing shots off of this, it would be really good. I actually don't really know how ricochet and harpoon interact either, because it'll bounce. I don't know which direction it pulls the attack. So I'm going to go ahead and combine here and then just buy this slingshot in order to have the better scaling weapon. So it looks like we got a wildly better scaling version of the level 4 harpoon gun. So really good to do that. We got like almost 80% damage scaling there. Gonna roll and roll again and roll again. And we'll take a coffee, and I don't even really need a lemonade. I'm gonna just re-roll here. Go fight this elite with our powered up harpoon turret. The elites are starting to be pretty dangerous though, and I don't have any tardigrades because I did pass one because I hadn't planned to go endless mode, but you do want tardigrade for endless mode. But the damage output of my turret is really high, so we're still killing the elites here. You can't pull elites though, which is the problem with trying to get that one away from the turret. Oh, also, we're on the Abyss, so we could get the elite that just goes to the middle of the wave and sits there on top of the turret, and our turret would never be able to shoot it. That would be very funny. I think we'd still survive just fine, but that would be a very hilarious way to end a run too. Yeah, sure, more lifesteal. I guess I'll take the piggy bank just to pull it out of the shop pool. We'll take more engineering, and then buy these 2 items and reroll. Take some more engineering, block some armor, reroll. Tentacle, I don't really need. Extra stomach, sure. More max HP and more engineering from the toolbox. Also very good. That cursed taser, by the way, one of the best weapons to use as the builder. You get a different weapon for your turret, but having 5 tasers gives you the support weapon tag and helps protect your actual character, so you can play a little greedier while your turret is still in the building up stage. So taser is one of the best, like, second weapons to have for the builder. You may have seen me play builder with planks or builder with 6 of the same weapon in one of my random weapon challenges, but that's actually not the right way to play the character. You usually want one really powerful weapon and then a bunch of weapons that are weaker and help protect your actual character. Things like tasers or bricks. Anything that gives you a boost. Loots is also good just for the harvesting and support weapon tags. And because the debuff still works for the builder as well. Definitely taking reinforced steel for more engineering and more regen from our Estes couch. And I guess I'll take night goggles also, because why not? Go ahead and buy the extra stomach to get some free value there. Anvil we'll take as well, and do some rerolls. Okay. I'm really enjoying this run. We move slow, they move slow. But the turret moves fast. Despite not moving at all. I'm curious, actually, how far you could take this strategy, because the fact that the turret doesn't shoot enemies directly on top of itself definitely limits how far you can go. But the fact that it scales 400% does mean, with the cursed harpoon gun, does mean that we're getting quite a bit of value out of it there. It's starting to have trouble clearing enemies now, though, so that is what would probably kill us eventually. I'm just going to take a little more armor here. We'll grab an anvil, and we'll take a toolbox, and then do a reroll. Leather vest, sure. Cog, yes. Medical gun, not recommended for the builder turret. It just doesn't do enough damage, but it is fun that it has 95% lifesteal. Even though we haven't built that much lifesteal. Actually, how much do we have now? Because we have the Grind's Magical Leaf. Okay, yeah, so it's got 60% base on the level 4 medical gun. But that can heal you quite a bit in a normal run. Although the builder turret, even from medical gun, won't proc lifesteal, but you can use it as your secondary weapon. Just had to clarify what I meant there. Someone really revving their engines outside of my house. I hope they're having fun. I'm gonna go ahead and take more engineering here. It does cost me move speed. At this point, we don't actually care about the regen that much, though. We're gonna pick up more engineering just for even more damage. We'll take some armor. I'm not quite at dodge cap, so even after buying this leather vest will put me at dodge cap, but still worth getting the blindfold here. I'll take the lumberjack shirt, and why not? We'll lock a curse cyberball just for the curse. I think I'm gonna go to wave 30 on this run. Yeah, some kind of street racing or something going on outside. I don't know if it's coming through on the microphone. Probably not. That type of ambient noise where it's like one solid tone. Modern noise filters are so good at filtering out. It really is amazing what they can do with noise canceling now. I have been in a lot of, you know, Ventrilo servers with everyone's keyboards going in the background, so I really appreciate how good modern voice clients are at cutting out that background noise. I'm gonna take more luck. Yeah, I don't care about capping my move speed because we just want to decrease it anyways, and this is a great item for us, of course. And then let's go ahead and buy the cursed item and then do a reroll here. I'll take another cursed item because why not? And no engineering items, so we'll just leave three things locked in the shop. I am not sure we can actually win wave 30 with this character. I haven't really increased my damage output enough, and our survivability is okay. But as you get on, wave 30 will probably be fine. Getting too much past wave 30 I don't think is really in the cards for this build, because survivability just stops being a valid strategy. At that point, any damage you take will be instantly lethal anyways. So you just need the damage to clear the wave immediately. And the builder turret eventually does stop being sufficient for doing that, because there is a hard limit on animation that can happen in a given amount of time. So the builder's turret actually functionally has an attack speed cap, even if you consistently give it more attack speed. Now, they actually did something interesting when they made this character. They lowered they increased the animation limit that can happen in a given period of time to make a builder viable at all, because previously it just wasn't shooting enough. But it still has a cap. So you will eventually hit that if you go for a really long endless run with this character. We'll take a cog here and then keep rolling, and we'll go to wave 30 and see what happens. Doing decent chip damage to the bosses, and I'm not really taking that much damage. So it looks like we'll make it through this wave here, based on our 60% dodge chance, mostly. I could still die if I get really unlucky on dodges, because it's with move speed this low, it is very hard to avoid taking hits. And of course, our turret, while it is doing some damage, is not killing these bosses quickly enough, and probably will never actually kill the elites of bosses here. Not within the time limit, anyways. So we're starting to take a few extra hits here. My sunken bell just went off. All right, we might die in this spot. Picking up some consumables to try to stay alive. I would like to make it past wave 30 here. And we did just enough healing to make it through. Let's go ahead and Spyglass would have been nice. Actually, you want Cursed Spyglass, but Spyglass, of course, very nice for endless mode. And then let's go ahead and end the run so we can look at our economy items. All right, 30 waves of builder with the old. That was a fun run. I do recommend it. It's certainly not the most challenging run, but you definitely get to do some interesting things there. Taking a look at our economy items, 21 bonus regen from the baby squid. Actually lower than you might think. You don't make that many materials on this character, so you end up with not that many levels. 142 harvesting from crown, obviously great there, and only 700 materials from recycling machine, because I ended up picking up most of the items that I found in boxes. On the other hand, 140 stats from Grind's magical leaf, giving us just ridiculous healing. What a good item for endless mode, especially. Only 31 regen from the adrenaline, because we were killing most things before we had to dodge them. Absurd savings from the Cursed Dangerous Bunny, of course. 32 HP from the Extra Stomach. The Anvil didn't give us any stats, but was upgrading our weapons at least. And overall, I would say just a really fun run. All right, my friends, hope you enjoyed that one. And of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.